Hey, what's up guys? It's Chris Chavez here with Phandroid.com. So the Evo 3D came out not too long ago. I think it was about 3 weeks or so. And I wanted to do a review on it, as soon as I got the phone. But after watching a bunch of the other review videos and stuff I've seen online, I kind of wanted to spend a little more time with the device and get intimate with the phone before I just give you guys a full-fledged review on it. Now, I noticed a lot of the reviews online missed a lot of stuff that I am going to bring to you guys here in this review. The main question I get from my friends on Twitter and say like Google Plus and stuff is just whether or not the Evo 3D is a big enough upgrade from say like the Evo 4G or the Nexus S, and whether or not, it's worth their hard-earned money, because some people have an upgrade and they're kind of sitting on it waiting to see what else comes out, or some people might want to pay just full price for the phone. Hopefully we'll be able to answer all your questions about the Evo 3D in my review here. So just sit back and take a look at my review on the HTC Evo 3D on Sprint. Alright, so let's get this party started. This is the HTC Evo 3D for Sprint. It is America's first 3D capable phone. You got the dual cameras here in the back for shooting in 3D, and then you have a nice cool 3D screen without the need for glasses for showing off to your friends and family and just taking cool 3D pics. So the first thing I just want to cover is overall build quality. I think it's awesome. It's got like this aluminum hard magnesium alloy adamantium kind of going around the screen. What that means is like last year's Evo 4G, it's not plastic anymore. They had this plastic trim and it was causing screen separation. You get lint in there and lint gets underneath the screen, which happened to me. And then out of nowhere, they would just start cracking the plastic. It was just a total disaster. And I'm just so glad that HTC just totally did away with that. So build quality is awesome. This thing feels nice and hard and tough, and it's heavy. And it's actually thinner than last year's Evo 4G, believe it or not. Yep. One thing a lot of reviewers haven't really mentioned is there is some light bleed down here at the bottom. You'd probably have to see it from the dark, but all on the bottom here, this little seam, light kind of comes out of it. And if you're, I don't know, really anal about that sort of stuff, it'll bother you. But if you're not like me, I'm just like, whatever. On the front, you have a 1.3 megapixel camera, which is actually an upgrade from last year's Evo 4G. Seeing how that one only had a 0.3 megapixel and it was pretty much useless because pictures always came out grainy and ugly looking, but this one actually comes out nice and clear, and it's actually pretty cool for taking self-portraits or photos with your friends and stuff. On the back you have dual 5 megapixel cameras, dual LED flash, micro USB that also acts as an HDMI out port. You have dual microphones here, with the top one's for noise cancelling, the bottom one's for voice calls. Now, you do have this kind of Frankenstein-looking shutter button here for taking pictures and stuff. And then you have this cool little silver switch for switching to 3D and 2D mode on the fly. I do love the fact that it has a dedicated camera button. I'm absolutely in love with that. I think it's totally awesome. It just makes taking pictures really, really easily. You don't have to try to position it just right, and then you're trying to hold it, and then, hold on, let me push that shutter button on the screen. 4.3-inch screen here on the front. It's a QHD screen, which means it's actually a little bit longer and a little bit narrower than last year's Evo 4G here. You might be able to see that there. About the same height, but just a little more narrower. Now on the inside, HTC advertises the phone as having 4 gigs of internal memory, when in fact you only have about 1 gig for storing apps and stuff, so that's kind of interesting. Also inside you have a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon processor, even though as far as I know, nothing uses dual cores yet. So, yeah. HTC provides you with an 8 gigabyte SD card for taking pictures and video and stuff. I would have liked to at least seen like maybe a 16 or maybe even a 32 gig like on the Thunderbolt. Okay, more about the hardware. You do have a speaker on the back here, And the speaker is so quiet, even when like full blast, you turn it up all the way. You can barely hear it. I thought the Evo 4G was really bad. The Thunderbolt, I feel like, has the best, speaker. Loud, clear, crisp. It's just totally amazing. Again, Thunderbolt is winning there. But on the Evo 4G, even their little wonky speaker is better than this. This one seems a little bit clearer and stuff, but it's just so quiet. I could hardly even hear it when my phone rings, and it's just kind of disappointing to me. Definitely really bothers me. Call quality on the phone is awesome. The speaker seems to be a little bit louder than on the Evo 4G. I can just hear a lot better when talking to another person that had the Evo 3D, so I'm not sure if that's because of the noise canceling mic on their end or what was going on, but it definitely did seem a lot clearer and better, and there are ways to kind of mess around with it and even make it sound a lot better, so that was one thing I was really happy with. HTC's at it again with the whole like protruding lens here for the cameras. They did it with the Evo 4G here, and every time you laid it down it would just get scratched on any surface. Thankfully you had a kickstand to kind of keep it up, so wherever I went I'd use the kickstand, but this one's so little, I mean it has to be on a really hard surface. No kickstand here, guys, so whenever you lay it down, just be careful because you will be scratching up that screen. You could do what I did, and I just get like a screen protector and I'll cut it out and just go another one, and my lenses will be nice and protected. Okay, now let's get to this other issue that just really bothers me about this phone, and it seems to be that way on a couple of other phones as well, but taking out the battery cover is very difficult to do. It actually comes off pretty easily here, but it's this last half that just really hangs on, and there is this aluminum that's actually attached to the battery cover, and it bends. It'll actually warp the aluminum that's around here just trying to get this sucker off. So like I'm gonna show you guys just how hard it is because I can barely ever do this. Seriously, like I feel like it's gonna snap off and break every single time, and the thing that does suck is that you can see here, well you might not be able to see, but the aluminum is bent here just from trying to get this sucker off, right? And it's just this is just the most frustrating thing in the world. It should just come off easily. The Sensation definitely does not have this problem. The Sensation has a little button, you press that and the whole thing just slides off nice and easy. Super bad move, just bad planning on HTC's part. But what are you going to do? So let's get to talking about the display on the Evo 4G, since I'm a huge display buff or screen buff, whether it be on my computer, on my TV or anything. I always gotta have like the best display. I can see every little pixel. I have these really crazy specialized, so display is huge to me. So right here we have the Evo 3D, Evo 4G, and the Thunderbolt, and you can see the hue on the whites is a little bit different. One thing that really sucks about the Evo 3D is the fact that viewing angles are not so hot. You just turn it a little bit up, down, left, to right, and the screen is quickly getting washed out. Not so on the Evo 4G, and definitely not so on the Thunderbolt. This largely has to do with the fact that it has some type of, the 3D display on it, and different parts of the screen are hitting different eyes, so it's just not as nice as, say, even like the older 4G, and definitely nowhere near as nice as, say, the Thunderbolt. The Sensation screen is also a lot better than the Evo 3D because the viewing angles are a lot more solid, and I think the screen's a little bit more brighter back when I had it. But let's go ahead and open up the market, and I'll show you guys some greens here. So this is the Thunderbolt here in the middle, and you can kind of see how these are more of like a lime washed out green, and this is like a most bright, vivid, saturated green I think I've ever seen in my life, next to AMOLED. Same thing goes with reds and stuff. It'll probably be kind of hard to see, but on Gmail, yeah, it's going to be impossible to see. The Gmail on the Thunderbolt is just a whole lot more, vivid and more deep. Blacks are a lot better on this Super LCD screen. I just feel like HTC kind of just did with all their premium materials as far as the Thunderbolt goes, including the camera. But enough about that. The screen is one thing that kind of sucks on this phone. When looking at it head on, just directly, it looks good. Don't get me wrong, but it's just the viewing angle and stuff that kind of suck on it, and that's really disappointing to me. Okay, getting into the software, I don't want to cover too much about Sense 3.0 since most people already know everything there is to know about it, but you have the lock screen here. You can jump to certain, apps and stuff straight from the lock screen. You got that cool 3D carousel effect. It's actually just a lot of glitz and glamour because I don't like it. It's not functional at all unless you just want to randomly jump to a screen. Like, oh, I don't know what screen I want to jump to. And you just jump to it. It's actually frustrating to me when I'm driving and I'm trying to swipe and and it just goes in the carousel effect. I really wish HTC had an option to turn it off because I would definitely turn it off. Another thing that's kind of weird about Sense 3.0 is the fact that the wallpaper doesn't scroll in the background anymore. But yeah, it just kind of frustrates me that the background no longer scrolls. A lot of people really like Sense 3.0. I'm actually still a fan of Sense 2.1. I don't know, that's just me. I feel like it ran faster and it was better and stuff. You do get these cool little 3D effects, you know, when swiping, which is all nice and dandy, but the frame rate when swiping is definitely not as fast as, say, like even the Thunderbolt, which is running Sense 2.1. This is like almost moving at about 60 frames. I would say probably like 45 frames a second, whereas this is just like 30 frames. So it's a little bit choppier, and it's kind of funny because every reviewer says, you know, they love how smooth it is and this and that, but it's actually not even as smooth as Sense 2.1 was on the Thunderbolt. Look at that. Look at that butter. I don't know if you remember this, but on the original Evo 4G, there was a frame rate cap that they put on the phone as far as the home screen went and games and stuff. So I don't know if this is something that can be, I don't know, graphics accelerated or using the processor or Adreno GPU or something just to make it run 60 frames a second would be totally awesome, and I would be so in love with this, but as it stands right now, I don't really like the choppy choppies. The phone does come preloaded with your typical Sprint apps, but the Sprint ones can be installed. So if you're not a NASCAR fan like me or NFL fan, or you don't like Sprint Mobile or Sprint Radio or some of these, those can be uninstalled. The ones that can't be uninstalled are the ones that came from HTC, I believe, like the Spider-Man 3D demo. Cannot be uninstalled, and that sucker takes up a heap load of memory. The phone does come with the Green Hornet 3D, which I think is kind of cool. When playing Spider-Man 3D, the game runs awesome. It's in 3D. You can actually hook it up using your HDMI to a 3D TV and play using 3D glasses on a 3D equipped TV, which I thought was kind of cool. They were showing it off at that HTC party that I went to, and it was pretty neat. That's one thing that's really cool, is the fact that this 3D phone is compatible with the 3D stuff, our 3D TVs that are out there. Another thing that's cool is, as far as 3D content goes, if you go to the YouTube app and you were to find anything that's in 3D, you can watch it on your Evo 3D in 3D. So they had this one weird little kid that was, I don't know, he had a pocket knife and he was trying to cut you, and it was in 3D, and it just looked totally awesome. So, oh, hey, YouTube guy. Okay, so yeah, I think that's awesome. It just automatically goes into 3D, and you can watch 3D content. So they had this one kid, and he was using his pocket knife, and I swear it was coming out the screen, and he was trying to cut me and stuff, and it was crazy. I had to kick his ass. More along the lines of multimedia. Let's go to YouTube. Okay, following on with the whole multimedia stuff, going to youtube.com, the actual full site, and trying to play a movie in 720p or a video. It's nice and smooth. You don't really have to worry about frame skipping or anything like on Tegra 2 devices. And if I were to go to even like 1080, but then you would actually see the frame skipping and stuff like that. So it doesn't handle 1080p too well, but 720 is just fine. It doesn't really matter because I don't know why you'd want to watch 1080p anyway, seeing how the display doesn't even go that high. So 720 does work very nice and smooth, and I was pleased to see that. More along the lines of software, HTC was nice enough to provide us with, and I didn't see too many reviewers mention this, which was kind of frustrating. They did give us the new touch input, or HTC IME, which has the swipe function. So what if you could fly through the... I don't know what's going on. Anyways, the cool swipe function, which is pretty awesome. I did dig that a lot, even though I'd only use swipe when I'm driving. But don't text and drive. What does suck is they do include swipe as well, which is, I don't know, I think that's kind of funny. And the problem with that I have is that you can't install the new swipe betas that are out on the swipe site. So you're kind of stuck with this one that they give you here. Wah, wah. Okay, now going to the camera, The camera is just so full featured and it has so much stuff that it can do. This is probably one of the best things about this phone, and I know HTC kind of advertises it a lot on their new MyTouch Slide 4G or whatever you want to call it. The camera's leaps and bounds better than even like the Evo 4G, of course. Tons of features. You can adjust effects. Now these are effects that you do while you're shooting, so you can make some funky cool thing going down there. I don't know. If you want to turn it blue or solarize. And then after you take a picture, you can then adjust some more effects to it. So let's see this. Oh, who's this ugly guy here? Let's go ahead and adjust some effects, or post effects, I guess you can call them. And here you have, like, say, auto enhance, which auto enhances it. Put some cinnamon on there. Sepia, high contrast. Ooh, that's not good. Warmth, cold, just tons of effects, make it look antique, like it was from the Wild West. Just really, really cool. And then you save it, and then it saves a copy of that photo with the new effect on there. So camera is definitely no joke. This is actually one of the coolest things about this phone for sure. It only shoots in 720p and only goes up to 5 megapixels, but really it's not about the megapixels, guys. It's about how you use them. And if you want to see some test photos and stuff, I'll go ahead and include them on Phandroid on my full review there, so check those out. So whether you're a hipster or a teenage girl, or just a wannabe photographer, the camera function on the Evo 3D is probably one of the coolest things about it. You get a lot of the functionality in, like, say, the Sensation as well, but you don't get that cool 3D stuff. Also, if we go to 3D photos and videos, let's go down to, say, the photo or video I have of Clifford here. It's in 3D and stuff, which is neat. You can actually, let me see here. No, wait, let's go back. You can actually trim the video, which I thought was kind of cool. So they do give you some light video editing. And again, Sense 3.0, it's a Sense feature. You're not going to find this on stock Android or any of that stuff. So just really, really awesome that they decided to include this. And I just think it's awesome. You know, I don't want to trim Clifford. Yeah, again, awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Sense 3.0, HTC. Great job. All right, so getting into some of the wild cards, the battery is bigger than, say, on the Sensation, but, you know, there is this rumor going around that CDMA radios, like that use, you know, Sprint and Verizon, those use more battery than, say, like GSM radios. The battery life is hit or miss. Today, I don't even really too sure what I'm getting today, but I have good bars in my house now. About phone, battery use. 5 hours, and I'm a little over half, so that's kind of cool. That means I'd probably get, at this rate, you know, 10 hours or 11 hours or 13 hours. But again, hit or miss. Sometimes it acts weird, and it just dies really quick, and the phone gets hot, kind of like it is right now. It's a little warm. Don't really mind the warmth, but I mind it if it's actually something going wrong with the phone. But a simple reboot does help that. But again, it's just a software thing, and updates from HTC will make this phone just totally awesome, and I'm sure they'll be able to fix that stuff. But yeah, so you'll see some reviews saying the battery life sucks. You'll see some reviews saying the battery life is awesome. It's always different from everyone, just depending on how many bars you have, how many things you have syncing in the background. If you're like my sister and you're just constantly refreshing Facebook every 2 seconds, then yeah, your battery is going to die in about 4 hours. So regardless, battery life stock is better than the battery life stock was on the HTC Evo 4G. So that's pretty much all I was really asking for. I'll probably supply some quadrant and Linpack scores on my full review on the site. I'm not really into those. I don't feel like they really judge anything, like any kind of speed or anything, so I don't really like bother with those too much. But you can see here, everything opens pretty much instantly. Damn you, Carousel. Haven't really had any problems with slowdown or anything like that. 1 gigabyte of memory or RAM to work with is definitely a nice little plus, and I'm sure that helps with the speed. But yeah, the phone overall is quick. Definitely happy with it. I can launch anything, and it just goes really fast. So that's all working on 1 core, if I'm not mistaken. So good job with that, Qualcomm. Is the phone perfect? Definitely not. Not by a long shot. I actually tried the walk on water test, and the phone just sank to the bottom like a doubting Thomas. But You know, there really is no such thing as a Jesus phone. I don't think there ever will be. Even with its shortcomings, it's a solid premium smartphone. It feels so awesome. Nice metal rocker buttons. Everything's nice and tough and just feels sturdy and great. And my one request is that, you know, I wanted this phone to be better than the Evo 4G in every single way. And in every single way, the phone is better. The design of it, it's thinner. Battery lasts longer, speakers better, front-facing camera quality is better. I mean, everything that you can think of as far as an upgrade goes to the Evo 4G, this phone definitely lives up to that. So that's all I asked from HTC, and that's what they gave me, and I am definitely happy with this phone. So, woo! Spirit fingers. Alright, so that was my review on the HTC Evo 3D for Sprint. America's first 3D phone. I actually found out that I use the 3D function in the phone a lot more than I thought I would. Whether I'm taking pictures or taking video and stuff. It's just an awesome conversation piece for people that don't have, you know, like an Android phone or something. They can see like, what? That phone's got 3D and stuff, and then they want to take a look at it, and they get to looking at all the cool features that Sense 3.0 has and stuff, and people just, you know, it really pulls them in. It's not for everyone, but again, you can turn off the 3D function, not really a big deal. But yeah, I mean, I just think the phone is great in just about every single way. There is definitely no other phone on Sprint right now that can touch it. Not the Nexus S 4G, not, you know, the original Evo. So if you were on the fence about the Evo 3D, I definitely feel like it is worth the upgrade. It was for me, and I haven't looked back since. I guess the verdict is 2 thumbs up. HTC did a great job with it. It's definitely probably the best phone on the market, in my personal opinion. But, you know, like any phone that comes out, I'm sure there's going to be something just leaps and bounds better in a couple of months. Some quad-core, call-out, crate pack-in, 20-megapixel phone. But that's just technology for you. So thank you guys for watching this. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I will see you guys next time.